Hey guys, Marcus Catkin back for your Friday daily fantasy football update. What a game we had last night. I mean, just a crazy, crazy wild game. The Falcons just destroying the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And there's a lot of news and notes from this game that we want to pay attention to for our fantasy season, not only next week, but moving forward throughout the rest of our season. First up is Josh McCown. Hurts his hand in this game, but just like his previous two games, wasn't looking very good leading up to him hurting himself. Right now, there's no timetable on when he'll be back, but to be completely honest with you, healthy or not, I think this is Mike Glennon's team now moving forward. He looked really good last year, and I, for one, was surprised when they brought in Josh McCown in the offseason to be the starter with as good as Mike Glennon looked. I think he's the future. He's the young guy. They drafted him in the third round for a reason. Let's see what he can do. And I think one of the guys that this definitely upgrades is Vincent Jackson. Last night still had kind of a down game for him, just 15 yards receiving, but did pull out that touchdown to kind of salvage some fantasy value. But Vincent Jackson last year with Mike Glennon, they just clicked. Glennon was looking for him all the time, throwing it up to him, really helped his fantasy value second half of the year. And surprisingly in this game, Glennon was looking a lot towards Mike Evans. So I think Mike Evans even gets an uptick on this one too with Mike Glennon in there. So buy low on both those guys, Vincent Jackson and Mike Evans. And then the Tampa Bay running game, really, really ugly, guys. Bobby Rainey, 2 fumbles as the starter in there with Doug Martin as an inactive for this game. If you're a Doug Martin owner, you love this. You love seeing this. It makes you feel a little bit better about when Martin is healthy, getting back in there. But I think a name that we really need to remember, especially second half of the fantasy year, Charles Sims. This is a guy that they went out and drafted and was going to push Doug Martin for starting carries. And I think that's going to happen even more now with the Martin troubles, Bobby Rainey with the fumbling problems. Charles Sims later on this year, week 9, week 10, once he comes off that short-term IR, great name to remember. I think he's going to be fantasy relevant this year. And then Atlanta side of the ball, Julio Jones proving again that he is a legit top 5 fantasy wide receiver when Roddy White isn't there. You're starting Julio Jones anyway, but in daily fantasy leagues, you got to start him when Roddy White isn't there. He is a must-start guy, and last night was a clear reason why. And then Matt Ryan, obviously bouncing back in this game. I think this is what we should expect from Matt Ryan moving forward. That 3-touchdown, 250-yard kind of day. Well above average, top 10 fantasy numbers easy, probably top 5. But I think that's what we're going to see from Matt Ryan. I know week 1 he had that huge game. Week 2 had a down game. This is about where I'd expect him fantasy-wise for fantasy points rest of the season. Don't forget to subscribe below to get my daily fantasy updates, and follow me on Twitter @MarcusCatkin.